Hey Bobo, I know you thought that this wasn't going to show up, but here it is. Hey Nerfers, I'm Jay, and today I'm going to show you how to install the O-Tac Hammershot kit from Orange Modworks. So first what we're going to do is we're going to dive down. I'm going to open this box up. First, I just really want to talk about how this is presented. Like, it looks so cool, and honestly, I think this is going to be worth the wait, but we'll see. So we're just going to dive down real quick. I'm going to show you how to install this, and then we're going to come back up, and I'm going to review the product. Alright guys, so here is the box that it comes in. It's very compact, and it's just, I really, really love the presentation of this. The box looks really cool. It's got this honeycomb print pattern on it. It's got this nice see-through area to display the barrel. And then you've got, everything in here nice and compact and organized. I'm going to go through everything real quick. Take everything out first, though. So you take out everything, and you're left with the barrel. And then you've just got an empty box after that. So the first thing that I really wanted to talk about is this barrel. And what's really cool about this barrel is that it's pretty much the exact same size as the stock barrel. But as you can see, it's got an extra barrel in it. It's got an extra hole in it for an extra dart. So this now becomes a 6-shot blaster, which is really cool. And that's part of the argument as to why people were like, oh, the strong arm is better than the Hammershot because it's got 6 instead of 5. Well, now the Hammershot has 6. Next thing, I'm going to show you guys what else this comes with. I'm just going to open this up. Got some scissors right here. Dump out the contents. Got a massive spring. This is really, really hard to compress. Got a polycarbonate, I believe, or in some sort of injection molding trigger, which is really smooth. This is like matte finish. It's really nice. I would have preferred a metal trigger personally. And then you've got this same kind of plastic for the actual hammer mechanism, and this hammer is really, really grippy, and I like the shape a lot. And I don't have the largest hands in the world, so it's going to be interesting to see how this works. You've also got this axle piece here for the front part of the barrel, and then you got a few O-Tac stickers. I might put one of those on my laptop. But yeah, that's basically all the components. And the back of this looks really interesting, and the other thing that really caught my eye was, the only other thing that I noticed, and this is like a quality control thing, is there's this nice crack that's running right through here. It doesn't seem to be related to structural weakness or anything, so I'm not too worried about it, but the quality of this plastic leaves a little bit to be desired, especially around the back here. But for the most part, this looks really cool. And I'm expecting it to hold up pretty well. So now I'm going to show you how to install it. Alright, the first step for installing the Hammershot kit is to disassemble your blaster. Step 2, open your blaster. Step 3, take all of the internals out of the shell. And put the shell over to the side for now. We're not going to need that for a while. Step 4, take this part and discard it. You don't need it anymore. Now, I actually, a while ago, modified this one, took the air restrictor out, added some hot glue in between the spring and the rest plate, and so it's going to be a little bit of a pain to get off, but I'll figure it out. Next step, you're going to unscrew these 2 screws. Now, I went ahead and undid this part, and basically all you have to do is get a screwdriver in there and just apply some leverage till this thing kind of bends apart. I'm actually going to put it back in place for now so the plastic doesn't warp. And you're going to basically do the same thing, or just try to punch a hole through the other side here, because you're going to need to use these 2 parts and attach them to this part. So, but first we're going to unscrew these 2 screws. Make sure you don't lose these screws, because they are important. Or 3 screws, excuse me. Forgot that 3rd screw. And then slowly bring it apart. Take this, discard it, get this whole system out of here. And then let's see if we can't pop this out somehow. Alright, Orange Modworks, I'm a little upset with you. I like this cute little picture of Jun. It's cute, but there's no installation guide up on your YouTube channel, so I'm still trying to figure out how to punch this particular metal rod out of here, because no one's told me how to do that yet. So I'm going to go figure that out, and once I get it done, I'll let you guys know what I did and if it worked. I also managed to get the spring off. Gotta love my Leatherman. It gets the job done. Alright guys, so I've gotten it to move a little bit. Basically, you've got to take some pliers, get one part under, squeeze a little bit, and then kind of move it kind of in and help that, have it push it. Words really can't talk today. And then with your pliers, you just kind of make the magic happen after that. Be very careful with this that you don't, nothing flies off and stabs you. I remember I was modifying a quick 16 it was, I think, and I was trying to punch through the rod through from the bolt sled. I cannot talk today, guys. And the rod went right into my finger, like a good solid inch or so in. So, be careful. Modding's dangerous. And you guys want to be careful not to mess up the plastic on this part basically as much as possible, just so, Basically, this middle part really isn't all that important anymore, so you can do with it what you like. It's basically just this back part here that you really need. And this really has been a trial trying to get this thing working. There's always something. So basically it's through the middle part that there's the friction. So I really do need to pull this entire thing through. Poor thing's gonna be beat up by the time I'm done with it. I'm gonna get this out off camera and then show you the rest. Well, that was infuriating, but we got it. So, thank God, it only took forever. So, now what we're gonna do is we're going to attach that portion to the back here, if we can finagle it into place. There we go. And then through some coercion, we'll get that rod back into place as well. Man, this part is a little bit beat up now, but it should hold together alright. I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to go and punch this back in off camera and then show you what to do next. I'm probably just going to squeeze it together with these pliers. Oh, that actually works really well. So basically I just squeezed them together and it's right back in place. Next step, you're going to want to get the plunger back on. And that you could probably do without the use of pliers at all. Just a matter of slowly bending the pieces so that you can get it in place. There you go. Everything's back together. Alright, next we're going to put the spring on the rod. We're going to place the plunger head back in the plunger tube. Going to put that back on the rod there too. And then we're going to fit the spring into its place. Everything's looking pretty good. You want to make sure that you don't lose this piece because this is the rotation mechanism. This orange L thing here. Don't lose that. Make sure that the spring, the return spring on the other side here is in place with it. And next we're going to put the trigger in place. Now the trigger is a little finicky. But if you can line up the spring with the hole, you can actually get it in place pretty easily. There you go. And it might be a little bent at first, so you just come in underneath and poke at it. Now, we take this piece right here, and we bring the system back just a little bit so that we can put everything in place. This part's a little bit tricky, especially with the upgraded spring. Putting a lot of pressure on this white mold area here that everything's sitting in. There we go. Once you push it in place, start screwing everything down. I kind of like to unscrew them first before I screw them in so that they're aligned and you don't misthread anything. Beautiful. Nice. That's a lot of air pressure. I like that a lot. That's cool. Next step, take your bottom half of the shell, place this section back in the shell. Oh god, this is going to look seriously cool. I'm very excited for this now, actually. After all the frustration of figuring this part out. Next, you take your barrel, you put this front part in with the flat side facing down. Insert the barrel into this orange piece, and then insert the front axle piece into its groove. Ta-da! And then you slap the front piece on and you screw back up, and we'll take her back to FaceTime and I'll show you how she fires. Alright guys, so I put it back together and things weren't functioning very well, so I took my Dremel to this part right here, this ring, because it was a little bit too thick and it was rubbing up against actually the plunger tube and as well as the plastic parts here. So I'm really disappointed in you, Orange Modworks. I mean, I understand that it took some time, but I mean, it took so much time that you guys should have found this stuff out by now, and I'm seriously bummed out about this, like, massive crack in the plastic. Like, come on, guys, I expect better out of you. But I'm going to bring her back to FaceTime now, and hopefully she'll fire good. Alright, guys, so it's back together. It's working. Not as well as I would have hoped, but it looks pretty badass, and there are definitely some things I like, but there are also some things I dislike. Let's start with the things I really like. I like the black trigger and the black hammer. I also like the ergonomics of the hammer and just how grippy it is. Like, I don't have that big hands, but this prime is still pretty comfortable for me. I like the look of the barrel. It just looks really badass now, I think. It'll look even more badass with the cool paint job. I also love the fact that there are 6 shots now instead of 5. And the thing that blows me away is that they did that with the same barrel space. Like, they didn't make a larger barrel. And that means, this is another huge plus for me, it can fit into my narrow base 3D printed Hammershot holster without a problem, and it looks cool too. So that's a huge plus. Some of the cons, I had to Dremel some of the plastic away from that inner ring in order to get this to rotate smoothly. It's not catching all the time. You really have to prime it, like really crank it down in order to get it to catch, and that could be just an installation error. I'll probably open her up back again and see what the deal is with that. Firing is, there's definitely some power, and the dart fit is nice, but loading's a little bit wonky at first. You gotta get used to it. Like, it doesn't click when it catches, so I don't know if it's primed all the way, and I can tell that's going to be a problem. See, like, it still hasn't caught, and see where I'm on an empty cylinder, so there we go. So that's going to be a problem. The other con is with the upgraded spring, your thumb is going to get tired pretty fast. I know in the heat of battle, your adrenaline's pumping, all that fun stuff, you will have the strength. But if you're just messing around with this at home, your hand's going to get pretty tired of this pretty fast. It's very groovy and grippy. It does chew up your finger a little bit. My hands are pretty calloused, so I'm used to that kind of stuff. I'm not too worried about it. I go back and forth with this. Was it worth it to pre-order? Yes-ish. I think this is really cool, and I definitely wanted to review it no matter whether it was good or not. But alright, it's useful, it has its uses, but I would not recommend this if you're not an experienced modifier. If you're not willing to make adjustments to stuff, like to the actual plastic of things, if you're not willing to take that risk or you don't have the expertise, I would not recommend it, because there is the possibility that you will have to do that with this. So yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence about this one. This is sitting about at a 6 for me right now in all. I'd say check it out for yourself and decide on your own. This is just my opinion and my experience with it. It definitely was troublesome to get those metal pieces out of the middle section and into the new black middle section here. This is a difficult mod kit to install. This is for those people who are a little bit more experienced with that kind of stuff. So, do I recommend this? It's really, honestly, it's up to whether or not you want to take your Hammershot to the next level, or you think this takes the Hammershot to the next level. I think it does for the most part. It's definitely going to take some getting used to, but I think it will provide very useful, and I mean, I just love that 6th shot. It's so nice. Like, for the same space, it's and an extra shot, like, and more power. Like, it's just really nice. I think that's really nice. So, Orange Modworks, you probably have some revisions to do. You guys got to work on your quality control a little bit. There's this huge crack running through this. I mean, you can't really see it on here, but there's this massive, like, it's just a nice little scratch looking thing. So, yeah, I mean, it's up to you guys. As always, guys, if you haven't checked out my blog yet, please do so. I'll put a link in the description below. My AMA is still open. If you want to comment on that video, I'll put a link to that too. Check me out on Facebook. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.